Alright guys, I'm back a day earlier than I'm supposed to because Hiro Mashima released the chapters a day earlier, along with Ichiro Oda in One Piece. So I'm just gonna get into these chapters 341, 342, and 343. So 341, the fan service is heavy, man. Everybody's going on missions. When I say everybody, I mean a lot of people. So yeah, this chapter is mainly fan service. We're in the girls' bathhouse again. Asses and boobies. Asses and boobies. Um, so they're talking, got Jill and Panther Lily on the mission, along with Jet and Joy. And we get this hot ass scene with Kana and Lucy. And Kana's just saying, "Hey yo Lucy, is it true that Natsu grabbed your boobs?" And Lucy, she's upset. She's like, "Yo, how the hell does she know this?" And then she's thinking, and we get a mini panel of Happy raising his paw in the air saying, "I." So, this remind, oh man, this chapter is really funny. So anyway, Kana, she just grabs the boobs and she's like, "Yo, let me have a taste too." And I mean, this hot ass panel. I'm gonna show you guys this panel. It's so hot. So with that panel, it seems like Connor's just tickling Lucy, and Levy, she's just like, "Oh my goodness, they're talking about boobs again." And so we get another comedic panel of Wendy and Erza. Um, those two are on the mission, and they are dressed as Ellie and Haru. For those of you who don't know who those two are, they are the two main characters of Rave Master. Rave Master is one of Hiro Mashima's older series, and he takes a lot of elements from his older series and has put it into Fairy Tail. Like for example, the main characters Haru and Ellie. They look exactly like Natsu and Lucy, and also the Arashian Seis. They were in Rave Master, and Hiroshima decided to put them into Fairy Tail as well, more than once. So he likes to take small elements from his old series and likes to put them into Fairy Tail. And so with with that, we just see a panel of some woman with really long hair, in the girl's bathhouse, and everybody's just wondering who the hell she is. She gets up and turns around, and it's Flair. it's freaking Flair, and everybody's just shocked. They are shocked, and Kana, she immediately dashes after Flair. I mean, epic. Boobies and asses shaking everywhere. So Kana just dashing after her, and Lucy just saying, "Yo, Kana, wait, hold on. She's not really that bad of a person." And Kana's just like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing? You know who she is, right?" And so Lucy's just saying she's not really a bad person, because if we remember, for those of you who have watched the OVA is pretty much the anime episode 176, because it's right after what happens after episode 175. So Lucy, she's I believe they were in an amusement park, and Flair came up behind her that day, and she apologized for what she did. She just blushed and she walked off, and Lucy's like, she's not that bad at all. She's actually pretty innocent and nice. And so we come back now, and Flair's just blushing. And the only thing she says is that, "I'll help you wash." And everybody's wondering why she's there, and she's saying, "Well, since Raventail has been disbanded, I have nowhere to go." And Lucy just saying, "Well, I can put in a word to our master." And she blushes. And she's saying, "But I don't want to join Fairy Tail." And she starts smiling, snickering. And everybody's just saying, "Yo, why the hell are you here then?" So we get that scene's over with. We get the old panels. We get Lucy walking back to her house, and it reminds me of a fairy tale before Tenrujima. Like this is a very fun chapter. It's feeling so nostalgic. So anyway, Lucy's walking to her house. We get the two guys on a boat who's saying, "Hey, better quit walking off. Better quit walking on the edge, or you'll fall in, or whatever." And so Lucy comes to her door and she opens it. And I was expecting to find Natsu, Gray, and Erza on the couch, just be like, "Yo, welcome home." But no, it's Erza, Charles, and Wendy. And Lucy, her face, she's just like, "Ah, this feels nostalgic." So obviously they've completed their mission, and they got sweets as a reward. And if it's sweets, you know Erza will do it. So it's crazy. And Erza's just saying, "Well, we got too much. We have too much. So we decided to share a little bit with you." And so they're asking what happened to Natsu and Gray. And Erza's just saying they were on a mission and it's pretty easy, so they should have been back, but it's already been 3 days. So we can already suspect that something went wrong in their mission. Whether they failed or maybe they accomplished it but they got lost. So at that point they're just wondering, and so they all go after them. And with that they find the monster. Natsu and Gray was supposed to defeat a monster, and they see the monster. It's defeated. It's on its ass. It is knocked out cold. It's either knocked out cold or it's dead. But I'm betting that it's knocked out cold. And so with that, they're just saying, well, they finished the mission. Where the hell are they? And just a remark, Erza's armor looks beautiful, man. It looks beautiful. Like her new armor that she's wearing. It looks beautiful. It look nothing like her old armor for some reason. I don't know why. So anyway, with that, we see Happy, and he's just saying, "Charles, help me." He's all beat up. He's using a cane to walk because he's limping. And so Erza, she's just saying, "Yo, what happened here?" And we get a Ben O'Gray. He's saying, "Hey, yo, stop fucking around." Not to be like, "Who the hell are you telling to stop fucking around?" And so they've apparently been fighting for at least 2 days now. And it's crazy. Who can fight for 2 days straight? They're arguing, and Erza, she tells them, "Hey, would you guys quit already?" And those two, they apparently don't even know that Erza is there. They probably think that it's Happy. And so they punch Erza and they tell her to shut up. Both of them. I mean, this panel. Erza, she's obviously pissed. And she even has a little nosebleed. She's like, "Oh?" And those two, when they realize who they punched, they're like, "Oh, shit." Like, the expression on their faces is crazy. And so Erza kicks their asses. And they're just sitting back at the bar in Fairy Tale. I'm like, man, I'm never working with him again. So all of a sudden, they get an emergency request. And it appears that since the Grand Magic Games, people have been requesting for people to do jobs, like certain people. Like if they wanted Lucy and Erza to do a job, they'd be like, "Hey, we want you to defeat this monster, but we only want Lucy and Erza to do it." So they've gotten a lot of those recently. And it's mostly because they became popular after the Grand Magic Games, Daimoto Embu. And this certain request that they're getting is for Natsu and Gray. Again. So Erza's going to have to accompany them, or else they're going to fail. And so they're like, "Hey, we're not working with each other anymore. Fuck it." And Makarov's face, it looks like he's scared, shocked, and just flabbergasted as he's looking at the request. And Makarov's just saying, "Yo, you have to do this, and you cannot fail whatsoever. The request is from Walrot Seekin, and he's one of the 10 wizard saints and one of the gods, one of the 4 gods of Ishgal. Yeah. So I mean, he's apparently one of the strongest four people in the series so far. And so with that, that basically ends the chapter. Just the request from Walrot Seekin. That ends this chapter. That is. So, alright, with the second chapter, they're going to Walrot Seekin's house. And we get a little bit of information on the way there. I mean, just one important thing. And Wendy asks, "What is Ishgal or Ishval?" And Erza says that it is the name, well, the old name, the former name of the continent that they live on. Now, with that being said, the top members of the 10 Wizard Saints, well, 4 at least, they call themselves the 4 Gods of Ishgal. And with this being said, we can pretty much assume that they are old, that they are old, like legends. So they finally arrive at his house, and one thing that strikes me is that it's small, it's tiny. I was expecting for his house to look like a mansion, you know? I mean, like, he's one of the top wizards. Well, supposedly he's supposed to be one of the top wizards. So I mean, he should have a lot of money. I mean, he's paying a lot of money to do this mission. So I was expecting for his house to be massive, like a mansion, bigger than Fairy Tales Guild by leaps and bounds. So they arrive at his house, and at first he seems like a really serious person because everybody's just like, I mean, they're keeping their mouths shut. It seems like they're scared. But this panel, he looks like a pansy. I hope I don't sound insulting, but he looks like a pansy, and by the looks of it, he's a tree. I doubt that he's a living tree. I know that I knew that there had to have been something more about him. So, anyway, he tells them about his request. In this village in the desert, that is, there, well, basically, the buildings, the rivers, and everything in the village is frozen. Even this flame, this flame is an everlasting and burning flame, and the people in the village consider this everlasting and ever burning eternal flame as their god. They worship this thing. They worship this flame. So even the flame is frozen, and I mean, who can imagine fire being frozen solid? So it's weird. And Natsu gets his face. He's like, huh? And an eternal flame. And for some reason, I'm thinking that Natsu is going to accidentally eat it. If not accidentally, intentionally. I can just see that happening. So with that, he was telling them about how he has green magic, and I'm assuming that he has control over plant life and nature life. And so, anyway, he just tells them that that's his request. He wants them to save the village. And with that, Natsu's just saying, if it's just ice and it's simple, I'll melt it with my flames. And with that, Grace just saying, oh, well, then you have no use for me. I can go. And Seekin, he just says, nope, you cannot melt this type of ice. Because, I mean, if you could melt it, he would have tried to do that. He would have already did it. He would have already did it if the ice could be melted that simply. So he just says, this is not any simple type of ice. So we're going to need your help too, Gray. And with that, we get Erza. She asks him a question, and she says, with a wizard of your high stature, why don't you just do this yourself? And so he goes on with a little monologue, and he says that the 10 Wizard Saints aren't really almighty. We're just 10 people chosen by the Magic Council. They're wizards far stronger than me and Ishgal, which is the continent that they live on, that he can't even, and he adds that he can't even compete with the wizards that are outside this continent. So this tells you that there are some crazy strong wizards outside of the continent, and I wish we could explore more of that, and I hope we do so. And so he even says that he doesn't have the confidence to go against Erza. That is crazy. I call BS. He supposedly can knock Jura out with no effort. And he's saying that he doesn't even have the confidence to go against Erza? I don't believe it. It's bull. I don't believe it. I call BS. So anyway, he adds on to that, and he just says, everyone has something that they're good or bad at. Friends and the guild make up to exist for that. And with that, everybody's just pumped up. They're excited. They be like, alright, we're ready to go. And he uses his green magic, and a big tree, it sprouts from the ground, and it's carrying them to the village. And so with that, he has a little flashback, and we get a picture of his younger self, and he looks the same as he does now. So I'm guessing this is probably before he turned into a tree. I don't know how he turned into a tree, but I'm guessing it's before then. And so we get a picture of two people, and if you look closely, one of them looks exactly like Master Hades. And this next panel is going to be a surprise. So anyway, they just look and they say, it's our guild. Look at it. It looks magnificent. And at first, I couldn't tell what this guild was, because it was only a silhouette. But this is actually the old fairy tale guild, the one that was built before it was destroyed by I believe it was Phantom Lord. Yeah, this was their guild before it was destroyed by Phantom Lord. And I didn't notice it immediately because we haven't seen the old guild in a very long time. So with that, in the next panel, we see Mavis, Master Hades, Seekin, and some other unknown character. That's big. And he says 105 years has passed since that time. So he's ancient. He's ancient. I'm betting that he's at least 130 years old. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Who would have thought that he would have had a connection with Mavis and Hades, Master Hades? So, oh my goodness, this is crazy. This chapter was crazy. I had to sit down for like 5 minutes and just think, because this page just got me so pumped up. So that's pretty much it. And he just says 105 years has passed. Mavis, these youngsters inherited your feelings. That kind of ruined it for me, because you don't inherit feelings. So whatever the case may be, this chapter was exciting and I loved it. Alright, so this third and final chapter, they arrive at the village and they look and everything is frozen. And apparently this is a village full of giants, because everything in there is massive. The guards, even the dogs, they're huge as hell. And we get this funny scene in Natsu, and where he's looking at everything and he's like, huge, 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 and he looks at Lucy's boobs and he's just saying huge. He looks at Wendy's boobs and he just says small, and then he looks up at another giant and he's just saying huge. So that was a very funny panel. I love that. I love that panel. Funniest in this chapter. So they look and they recognize that it is a village full of giants, a giant's village. And so Gray looks at one of them and he gets reminded of I'm just gonna call her He gets reminded of and how she used Ice Shell to contain Deliora. And he gets reminded of Altair because of her sacrifice. So with that, Gray walks up to the ice and he's just saying, hey, this feels familiar. This doesn't feel like normal ice. This feels familiar for some reason. And so it's Ice Shell. Somebody cast Ice Shell on the village. Who? I have no idea. But I mean, whoever used Ice Shell probably did it at the expense of their life, unless, and I'm just going off of a theory. Maybe the person who cast Ice Shell is able to do it without taking their life, without sacrificing themselves as a result. Maybe they can revert back to their normal human form, or possibly, I mean, I had another idea, but I can't remember what it was right now. So I'm just thinking that maybe they're able to, like maybe the person who cast it was just is able to revert back to their normal human form. So I mean, whoever froze this village used Ice Shell. I mean, who did it and why, we have no idea. So we see some people up on a ledge, and apparently they're from a treasure hunters guild, and they're after the eternal flame. And I mean, Gray and Erza, everybody, there's just like, you can't do that. This ice can't be melted by regular flames, because Natsu already tried and he failed epically. And so they're just saying, hey, with this moon drip, we can melt this ice and we can get the eternal flame. And so with that, they all start chasing after the treasure hunters guild. And I mean, that pretty much just ends that. We get another guild outside, and we see this fine figure of a woman with a tattoo on her, I would say her lower left stomach. Yeah, her lower left stomach. And they obviously know what's going on. They're saying treasure hunters and wizards. They look pretty annoying, but we have to get rid of them. It's our job. And by the looks of it, they're from a dark guild. I mean, we can already tell they're from a dark guild. So he's talking to a woman with a fur coat. And this one panel, we see her nose and below. And at that moment, I could already tell it was Minerva. But I didn't want to jump the gun and be disappointed when they revealed who this woman really was. So the guy who was talking to her, he says, well, matter of fact, no, let me back up. This woman, she says, fairy tale. You're quite ignorant if you live in this world and don't know about them. She's talking to the other guy because the guy doesn't know who they are. And she says, I didn't expect to have a chance to get my revenge so early. So anyway, we come back to this panel and she says, the underworld isn't really bad. And the guy just says, let's do our job, newbie. She says, newbie? Just call me lady. And we get this epic panel of Minerva. Oh my goodness. And she joined a dark guild. It's called Succubus Eye. Man, oh man. That was well, not really of a shocker, because she's suited for a dark guild. I mean, just look at her personality and how she just does everything. She's suited for a dark guild. And so with that, I mean, this panel is epic. So, I mean, that ends the chapter. That ends this chapter. So, all in all, Minerva joined the Dark Guild. The village has been frozen, including the Eternal Flame. So we have 3 guilds in this mix. A Treasure Hunters Guild, Fairy Tale, and the Dark Guild, Succubus Eye. So, rematch? Erza and Minerva? I think so. But I hope Erza doesn't pull out that demigod armor again. I hope she doesn't use that again. I want to see a fair fight between these two, if they encounter each other again. So with that, I'm ending this review, all 3 chapters. I'll catch you guys next week for the special chapter that's supposed to be released. And I've heard that all of the mangas are going to be released earlier, a day earlier than today. So it seems that the special Fairy Tale chapter might be released on Wednesday. And in that case, I'll see you guys Wednesday.